Hi, I'm Jillian Martin, and this is how I became Orthodox. So I was raised in a Unitarian family. Both of my parents were raised Christian, but they decided to leave the church, and they didn't want to raise me or any of my sisters Christian either. So I grew up going to a Unitarian Universalist congregation, and we were pretty involved. I would star in the Christmas pageant that we put on. I'd go to Sunday school, but we stopped going around the time I was 8. And none of the, doctrines or any of the lessons that I learned from the Unitarian Universalist congregation that I went to ever stuck with me. So we stopped going to the Unitarian Universalist congregation when I was around 8 years old, and from then on there was not really any religious influence in my life. I just kind of went about my life as an atheist, and that's how my parents felt as well. When I was about 15 years old, I started getting pretty interested in religion, and I recognized that I believed in a higher power, but I really didn't know what that looked like to me or what exactly I believed, but I wanted to put a more accurate definition to it. So I started doing a lot of research into different faiths and things like that. So some of the ones that really interested me were Catholicism. I was actually interested in the Baha'i faith for some reason. I don't know exactly what interested me about that. And I was also interested in the Quaker faith. But I remember watching a video on Eastern Orthodoxy and thinking, that doesn't seem like it's for me. So I just kind of put that on the back burner. But I started attending a Baptist congregation with a friend of mine, and I really fell in love with it. I loved the pastor. He gave such amazing sermons, but I just didn't feel like it was the place that I was meant to be forever. So I would go there from time to time with her, and I had a really great time, but I kind of felt like an imposter because I felt like I believed in God, but I didn't understand Jesus Christ. I didn't understand who he was or what purpose he served in my faith, and I just felt kind of silly for going at all. So I wanted to be accepted, and I wanted to be a part of the Christian church, but I just felt like I was an imposter. So one day I was at that church on a Sunday, and the pastor was giving a sermon, and it was very emotional, and it was about just letting God into our lives. And he called the whole congregation to go into prayer, and it was the first moment that I actually fully prayed to God. And in that moment, it wasn't a voice, but I heard just within me that it was okay for me to be there and that I was accepted. And I felt like that was God affirming to me that I was in the right place and that I wasn't an imposter and that I was truly one of his children. So from then on, I got a lot more serious about it, and I started exploring more churches, and I finally went to an Eastern Orthodox church. I went to Dormition Orthodox Church in Norfolk. So I went there, and everyone was so friendly, and I just had such a great time. And even though I was confused about, why there were icons on the wall or how ceremonial the whole service was, I just felt like it was beautiful and it was right. So I started going more and more frequently, just between that first time that I visited all the way until about a year later, when I was finally asked by the priest at the church if I was interested in becoming a catechumen. And I said yes because I really wanted to, but I was just too nervous to ask if I could become a catechumen. So I became a catechumen, and 3 months later, on December 21st, 2019, I was baptized into the Orthodox Church. And ever since then, it's just been such a journey growing in my faith and just learning more about God. And it's just been so beautiful. And I thought that I knew everything when I was baptized, but since then I've learned so much more, and I've only begun to see that I just don't know anything at all. And that's what's so fun about Orthodoxy, is that just every day learn something more about God, and it's just beautiful.